with the Jack's tutor. Let me wipe the screen. Make sure that it's good. Oh, that's worse. Hold on, let me try to wipe the screen. You probably won't be using it much. But we are live, and what's going on? I hope you guys had a good day. And let me make sure that we are live on Instagram, actually Facebook. Yes, yeah, we are live on Facebook and also YouTube as well. Let me set up the other ones. Usually I do Instagram on TikTok first. I think I know what happened. So today, I think what happened was. Let's see. Yes, let's go live on TikTok and see how many kids we get to show up. And this is live on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and then we're about to be live on Instagram in a few seconds. If you have any questions, it's a good time to ask them. Let's see. Today we'll be talking about, hey, what's going on, Madrid, Camilla. Welcome back. What's going on, guys? Let's see. All right, let's do this live on Instagram. You normally have a 1 hour limit. I think today the setup is a little bit better. So let me go live on Instagram. Hey, we are live on Instagram today. We're gonna help you guys with some math questions. And Sophie, what's going on? So I'm gonna show you guys what we're talking about today, and answer some of your questions too. I have some stuff for you, and then answer some of your questions, and then that will be it. What's going on? I see you guys come popping up on IG. What's up? So I want to talk about a few things. Let me get my pen. 1 second. So the first thing I want to talk about that I saw a bunch of questions about it. So no, this is a free event. This is a free event. I don't get paid for this. This is a free event that I do. A BXBY girl _ Nate, welcome back. So yeah, this is a free event. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is system of equations. System of equations. And then I'm going to show you guys how to find slope of a line. And these are the questions that I saw popping up last time. And I think the slope of the line question, I got it from somebody's comment on one of the videos that I have. I got it from there. So that's what we're going to talk about. And yeah. So I'm gonna wait for you guys to come up on TikTok. If you have any other questions too, if you have something else you want me to talk about, please let me know. And then we'll get those going and start. Let's see. I think we should be live on YouTube as well. And you guys, if you're on TikTok or Instagram, you know the drill already. If you want to see the screen, you gotta go to YouTube to see it. Let me see. I don't know what's going on YouTube. It's not showing. I guess it's not showing. Live on YouTube. Great job, Jack's Tutor. Thank you. Oh, you see it on YouTube? That's what's up. Okay, that's good. Let me see if I can share the screen with you guys. Let's go share. Um, and then yeah. So yeah, you guys should be able to see it on YouTube now, and Facebook as well. I know I saw it on Facebook, and you should be able to see it on YouTube. It seems like every time I set this up, uh, it's a new day. Okay, absolute value equations. Hey, what's going on, Jay? What's up? Okay, so yeah, I see it on Facebook, and I don't know why the YouTube page is not. Someone told me that I'm live on YouTube, but hey, are you guys able to see the screen on YouTube? Please let me know. If not, I need to set up something different. Okay, so we're gonna talk about a system of equations, and then we're also gonna show you guys how to do the slope of a line. So the first question, that I wanna address. I'm 30. What's going on, Jay? So the first question I wanna help you guys solve is probably the slope of a line, because that's probably easy to get to So let's say that you have 2 points. You have a point here, A of a coordinate 4, and then -5, and then also you have a point B of the coordinate of coordinate 0, maybe -1. So if you want to find the slope of a line, and there's an easy formula to remember to find the slope of a line. So the easiest way to find it is to remember the formula, but also when you want to think about what's going on when you kind of finding the slope of the line. So what's really going on is you taking the difference in the x values and also the difference in the y values. And then what you find for the difference in the y values, you divide that by the difference in the x value. So here's how this goes. So you take, let me put up the screen for a little bit. So what it says is the difference in the y value of the point B minus the y value of the point A, divided by the difference in the x values, the xb minus xa. So now, and easiest way to calculate that is using your calculator. But let me go on the calculator. 4 plus 2. Let me go on the Google Calculator and show you guys. Okay, good. So we're gonna put all that in the Google Calculator. So the points that we have are x. Let's see. I don't know what's going on Instagram. The points that we have are x of the coordinate of the point x is the point A actually. The coordinate of the point A is 4 and -5, and the coordinate of the point B is 0 and 1. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the y value of this point. The y value is this, and this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate, the y value, y, and then this is the y coordinate for B and the x coordinate for A. So what you do is you take the y coordinate of B, -1, minus the y coordinate of A. It was already -5, so minus -5. And you divide that by the x coordinate of the point B, 0, minus the x coordinate of the point A, which is 4. And this might look a little messy, and I want to show you exactly what we had. So we had, I'm going to do it here, and it probably in a different color so you can really see where this is coming from. So B is of the coordinates of the point B is 0 and 1, 0 and -1, and the one for A is what? What did I say it was? It was 4 and -5. So 4, -5. Oops. Let me know if you guys are able to see that on YouTube, my screen, -5. So now what do we do first? We take the coordinates of the point B, the y coordinate of the point B, which is -1, minus the y coordinate of the point A. So YB minus YA, y coordinate of the point A, which is what? -5. The x coordinate of the point B, which is what? 0 minus the x coordinate of the point A, which is -1. And that's all you do. This is all you do. You just do this. So now what do we have? -1 minus -5. And who can tell me what this is? Instagram or TikTok? Which one of you guys can tell me what this is? Or YouTube too. Let's see. Miss if I still have you guys. Thank you, Miyu, for telling me that I'm live. So what do we have here for this? So for the y coordinate of the point, and so how do we add those? So it's very simple, right? -1 minus -5, that gives you +5. -1 plus 5, and then here 0 minus 1, and that was minus the x coordinate of point A. XB, I want to make sure I'm not doing this right, -4. I put something else for XA. -4. 0 minus 4 is -4, right? So what do we have? What's the slope of this? -5 plus -1 plus 5. And thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca says she got a 90 on her a stats test because he listened to what I told her. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm glad. Congrats. Good stuff. And I'm really glad that you were able to pass that class because to pass that test. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff, Rebecca. Good job. So -1 plus 5 is 4 divided by -4. So that gives you a -1. So now this is the slope that we have. Now notice when I started doing this, I said you take the x coordinate of the point, the YB minus YA. The formula that I wrote here actually was, what did I do? I don't know where this went. So the formula that I wrote here was YB minus YA divided by XB minus XA. Now you could write it this way, but you also, there's no order. There's no order as long as you follow in a specific order. So what I'm saying is, if you started with YB minus YA, you got to divide it by XB minus XA. Now, if you had XA minus XB, it will give you a completely different slope, of the opposite sign. So now let me show you that you didn't have to put the y first. And when we study in the formula, normally they tell you YB minus YA, but you really don't have to put y first. You can start with the YB first. You can start with YA. So what I'm saying is, you can write the formula as YA minus YB divided by XA minus XB. The only thing you need to do is be consistent, whichever one you started with, that's the one that you finish with. Hey, Breed Law, what's going on? So yeah, this is to illustrate this, let's do the same example. So YA would be -5 minus YB would be minus -1. And if this doesn't work out, that means I made a mistake in one of them. XA is 4 minus 0. 4 minus 0. So -5 plus 1 divided by 4 minus 0. 4. So -4/4, which is -1. And the same thing. So what the point of what I'm saying is, you don't have to put x first. Okay, matrices. Okay, I'll do some of that here. Last time we talked about matrices. we did last time, last video. If you go on YouTube, literally the last video is like probably like half of it is about matrix. But I'll talk about matrices in a little bit. So you don't have to start with a specific one. You can start with X and then go to Y. Now, I know there was some questions about system of equations. Do you guys still need help with that? Or we can try to talk about matrices for Lelia. You guys still need help with system of equations? Going once, going twice. Okay. All right, let's do it. So, let's do some matrices since no one is saying anything about system of equations. Yes, okay. All right. Okay, let's do system of equations first, and then we'll move on to matrices since I said I was going to do it. Okay, so now here's how this goes. So now the way normally when you have a system of equation, let's say what you're probably going to see in your class mostly is, system of two equations. You can have 3 equations, 3 unknown, 4 equations, 4 unknown. But normally what kids really struggle with is, hey, how do you help with system of 2 equations? Let me do something simple. 2x minus y is equal to 0. And this is probably as simple as it gets. 2x minus y is equal to 0. 3x plus 4y is equal to, what can I make this? 11. Okay, now we're gonna solve for this. The way you would solve for this is looking for, so what you do is you eliminate, because you have 2 unknown, you're trying to eliminate 1 unknown, and then after that, whatever you find for that, like you're trying to either eliminate x or y, and to be able to have 1 equation and 1 unknown, and you know how to solve that from algebra. And then after that, what you do is you just solve for that unknown, either x or y, and then you plug it in inside of one of the equations to find the other one. So it sounds like a mouthful. Let me show you what we're gonna do. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna eliminate either x or y. It really doesn't matter which one you do. In this case, I think it's easier to eliminate y. Now, there are many, many ways you can solve for this, especially this case specifically. What you can do here is solve for y and then plug it inside of this equation. That's probably the fastest way to do it. I want to show you a way, I want to show you a way to do it where regardless of what equation that you have in front of you, you can still apply this way. Sometimes the equations won't look as nice as this one where you have a 0 on the other side, you will probably have something messier. But I'm going to show you something that's a little bit simpler, a little bit applicable to a lot of system of equations that you're going to have. So first, to eliminate the y, now let's eliminate y. To eliminate y, what we're going to do is going to multiply, and what I want to end up is a negative. If I have negative 2y's on top, I need a positive 2y's at the bottom. So that's what's going to eliminate, that's what's going to make the y disappear. Because when I add the first equation to the second equation, I'm going to have 0y. So that's what going to make the y disappear. And it's if vice versa, if I was doing the same thing for x, it would be the same way. So now, like I said here, it's easier to eliminate y. So what we're going to do, we're going to multiply, and let's call this equation 1. Normally that's what they do, and they call this equation 2. I don't confuse this with 11. So this is 11. This is equation 2. So equation 1. I'm going to multiply equation 1 by 4, because when I multiply this by 4, the first equation I'm going to have 4y, negative 4y, and the second equation is going to have a 4y in it. So now when you add negative 4y plus 4y, you'll get a 0. So I'm going to multiply the first equation by 4. Multiply this by 4. Multiply by 4. So 4 times 2x, that gives you what? 8x. And let me use a different color. So I multiply this by 4. 4 times 2x, 8x. And the first equation is going to become 8x. 4 times negative y, that gives you negative 4y, is equal to 0. Except for this one. Does that make sense? Is this making sense so far? Let me see if you have any question. Any questions? Let me go and look at the questions. Yes. Questions? Thank you, Amon, on YouTube. I know I messed up your name. Okay, so there's no question. So we're going to move on. So the second equation, we don't have to do anything to this equation because it looks like if I added to this equation, the y's value is going to be canceled. So what I'm going to do is place the second equation at the bottom of here so I can add these two together. So the 3x is going to stay the same. The plus 4y is equal to 11. Now, this is 0, but remember when we multiply into 4, and if I do another example, I probably won't choose 0 because that makes things a little bit confusing. But when you multiply that 4 here, you multiply it by this, you multiply it by this, you also multiply it by this one. So this is what we're gonna solve. Everything else we don't have to worry about them. So what we're gonna solve is let's add these two equations and see what we get. Let's add these two equations and see what we're going to get. So I have these two red equations and I want to add them. 8x plus 3x, that gives you 11x. 4y minus 4y plus 4y, that gives you 0. And you don't have to put anything there if you want to. Is equal to 11. And then you divide both sides by 11. 11x is equal to 11. Notice that's a simple equation. 11 x is equal to 11, and there's nothing to be confused here. The hard work is just eliminate one of the variables to be able to have an equation. That's the only hard work. Eliminate one of the variables. So 11x is equal to 11. You divide both sides by 11. X is equal to 1. Does that make sense? You guys understand? Yes, no, maybe. Any questions? Any questions? You got it? All right, cool. All right, nice. So there's no questions. So now when we find x is equal to 1, there are many ways that we can find y because we have a bunch of equations here. We can just replace x inside of any of these equations and get y. We can replace it inside of the equation that we started with and replace it inside of any of those ones to get y. The other way that you can solve for it, is doing the same thing over. Now this time around, what you can do is eliminate x, and then you're gonna have y. So many ways to solve for y. We already have x. There are many ways to solve for y. You can plug in x inside of any of these equations. We can plug in x inside of this equation. You can plug it inside of this equation. You can plug it inside of this equation, or the alternative way to solve for x, saying that to solve for y, I already have x. Whatever I did to get x, I'm going to do the same thing to get y. Make sense? So I'm going to do it two ways. Let's do the easiest way first. The easiest way. So let's go inside of this equation right here. 3x. So I'm considering this equation. 3x plus 4y is equal to 11. I know already that based on what I just solved, x is equal to 1. And I just plug in the 1 inside of the equation. So what does that give you? So 3 times x was 1 plus is equal to 11. Now, what else we need to do? 3 times 1 is 3 plus 4y is equal to 11. You subtract 3 from both sides, and you guys know how to do that. Take 3 over here, take 3 away here. This is gone. 4y, that implies 4y is equal to 11 minus 3. 11 minus 3. And that means what? 4y is equal to 8. And y is equal to, divide both sides by 4. Y is equal to 2. Am I going too fast? Does this make sense? You guys have any questions? Questions? One is x1 because there was no numbers in front of it. No, x we already calculate the value of x. Nickel. We already calculate the value of x. So this is how we did to calculate the value of x. So what we did, let me start over. So we had these two equations. One of them was 2x, and then you can see it here, 2x minus y is equal to 0. Second equation was this. So this is the system of equation that we're solving for. Now what we did to solve for that, saying that, hey, let me eliminate one variable. I'm going to eliminate the y. To eliminate the y, what I need is, if I have 4y on top, in the first equation, in the second equation, I need to have a negative 4y. So I need a positive. If I had 3y, I need a negative 3y. If I had 16y, I had a negative 16y. It doesn't really matter which one is positive, which one is negative. So this one has a 4y. I already saw this one has a 4y. So what I need this one to be is negative 4y. So after I did that, I multiplied. So to get to negative 4y, I already have a negative 1. I just multiply by 4. I multiply everything here by 4, actually. Everything here in this equation by 4. 4 times 2x, 4 times negative y. And then you end up with these two equations. So this is coming from equation 1. It's a modified version of equation 1 because I multiply it by 4. And then the same equation 2, I just write it again. Now what I did is I add these two equations. 8x plus 3x, 11x. Negative 4y plus 4y, 0. I just didn't write it. 11 stay the same. So 11x is equal to 11. You divide both sides by 11. You get x is equal to 1. Does that make sense, Nickel? And then what I did afterwards is, okay, I know x is equal to 1. I could plug x inside of any equation that will give me y. So I choose an equation that was easy. I plug x out of here. X was equal to 1. I replaced it by 1. And then I solve for y. Y is equal to 2. Now, the alternative way to solve to do this is saying, okay, I know the value of x. I know I can do the same thing that I did to find x to find y. So what are the two equations that we have? The first equation is 2x minus y is equal to 0. And the second equation was, and that's why x plus 4y is equal to 11. 3x plus 4y is equal to 11. Now, that is probably the longest way to do it because you already have x. All you have to do is just plug it in and find y. That's probably the longest way to do it. But if you wanted to, you could do it that way. If you wanted to, you could eliminate x now and then find y. So to eliminate x, however many x I have at some trick questions from the SAT. Okay. Yeah, if we have some time, we can go over that. So however many x I have from at the top, I need to have the exact opposite of that. So if I have 6x on the first equation, I need negative 6x in the second equation. So this one is 2x and this one is 3x. So now if I put a negative sign here, if I multiply everything here by negative, this is going to become negative 2, negative 3. It really doesn't add up, right? But I could have a 6x and a negative 6x. To have a 6x, I multiply this by negative 3, and I multiply this by 2. So, and if you do that this way, you'll be able to find y, and then it's exactly the same way that I just did it earlier. Do you have any questions? You guys want me to go through it? You have any questions about what I just said? So I need if I have to eliminate x, if I have negative 6x here, I need 6x at the bottom. So I had 2x, I'll multiply that 2 by 3 by negative 3, and then yeah, hey, good luck on that physics quiz that you have tomorrow. Michelle, good luck. You say you're gonna fail it. You're not ready. Okay. So, and that's what I was saying about this. So if I have 6x, if I have a negative 6x here, I need positive 6x on here, and that's what's gonna make it. That's what's gonna make you be able to do it. So I can go through it if you guys want me to. But the easiest way to solve for y is when you have the x, you just plug it inside of any of the equations. Let me see if you have any questions on the stream. 8. You said you have, okay, you feel like you understand system of equations. You have a test on it tomorrow. All right. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad I could help. Amon. I think for you, we're going to do another example. Let me do another example for you of system of equations. And hopefully that helps you tomorrow on your test. Let's see. Let me go on a different page and do another example that has a little bit more meat to it. Let's see. So let's say you have, for example, 2x plus 3y is equal to, I don't want to choose big numbers, is equal to 1. And then you have 5x minus y is equal to, what is that? Is that 6? 6. I'm picking the numbers in my head as I'm doing this. So that's why I try to see. Okay, so it can come out nicely, not have some fractions and stuff. So I think this should do it. So what I pick for x is this, and then for y, is it negative 6 or 6? Negative 6, actually. All right, cool. So let's do this for Amon, who has a test tomorrow. So the first thing you want to do here is saying, hey, I want to eliminate one of the variables to find the other one. And if you're doing it in your exam, I would eliminate one, the easiest one to eliminate, and then after I find the first one, the first variable, either x or y, I just put it inside the equations and find the other one. So in this case, I think it's easier to eliminate y because I have a 3y here. All I have to do to make this, all I have to do to make this a negative 3y, because to eliminate y, if I have 3y in the first equations, I need a negative 3y in the second equation. All I have to do to get a negative 3y here is multiply this big equation by 3. So, Iman, this is what we're doing. So we have 2x. The first equation is going to stay the same. Actually, let me just write what we get when we multiply this equation by 3. So I'm multiplying the second equation by 3. And this equation, that's what I mean by second equation. So 3 times 5x. So everything is going to be multiplied by 3. 3 times this, 3 times this, and 3 times this. And that's what you guys need to understand. So 3 times 5x is 15x. 3 times y, negative y is negative 3y. 3 times negative 6 is equal to negative 16. And the first equation stays the same. Let me write it in blue so you can understand that it stays the same. 2x plus 3y is equal to 1. Now, okay, so what else we do here? 2x plus 3y is equal to 1. So 15 So 15 plus, let's say if I made a mistake. 1, -1, okay. 3x minus 3y is equal to, why am I saying 16? 18. Okay. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, -18, right? So what I'm going to add is add the blue and the red equation. So 15x plus 2x, that gives me 17x. 3y minus 3y, that's gone. -18 plus 1 is -17. Now, what is the value of x, guys? 10 seconds. Let me see who can give me the value of x. What's the value of x? Notice what we have. 17x is equal to -17. Come on. Guys, this is way easier than that. Yeah, -1. That's why. -1. That's why Lydia. -1. That's what's up. So yeah, x is equal to -1. You divide both sides by 17. X is equal to -1. Now, if you take in the exam, I don't know, unless you're what's the name of Amon. If you're taking the exam, unless your teacher says that you do it a certain way, I think the easiest way for me, x is equal to -1, not -17. The easiest way for me is just whatever value of x I find here, I plug it inside of the equation. I would plug it inside the equation that has small numbers, so I don't have to do a bunch of, extra work. So -1 here, because it's an exam, unless they tell you to do, you have to do it a certain way. You just plug in a -1 in here, so it's going to be 2 times a -1, because that's what the value of x. That's what we found for x. 2 times -1 plus 3y is equal to 1. Okay, what's 2 times -1? -2, right? Plus 3y is equal to 1. Who can tell me what's the value of y? Daddy knows. Thank you. I try to go to a jam from time to time. I've been in there once or twice. Yes, Lydia, that's right. Value of y is 1. Y is equal to 1. So how did Lydia find 1? She added both, he or she. I'm not sure. You guys are creative with those usernames. She added both 2 to both sides. So you have 3y is equal to 1 plus 2 is 3, and that gives you y that is equal to 1. After you divide both sides by 3. So the solution to the system of equation is x is equal to -1 and y is equal to 1. So now this is how you write the solution. You put the value of x first and then the value of y. So and usually that's what they're going to ask you, unless they ask you for, hey, find the value of x or find the value of y. So does that make sense for you guys? Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so let's do, you guys want to see some matrices, right? Let's do some stuff about matrices. I have a question about limit here. I think we can get to that. There was another question too about a trig. I think we can get some limit questions. So you guys want to see matrix, additions, multiplication? We did some of that last time. Yes, no, maybe. I haven't paid attention to anyone in on Instagram. What's going on, guys? Matrices. Okay, so I'm gonna do some, just some simple stuff. And I think what we were talking about is, adding multiplying two matrices. So let's say you have 0, -1, 2, and 1, -1, 0, 4, 5. So when you're adding matrices, so what you do is, you take the corresponding elements, you add them. You add a 0 and a -1, 0 minus 1. You add the -1 and the 0, -1 plus 0. You add the 2 and the 4, 2 plus 4, and you add the 1 and the 5, 1 plus 5. And that's how you'd add. But multiplication is a little bit different. It's a little bit different, and it's you don't do it elements by element. So the thing that comes in, you have to take in consideration when you do multiplications is saying, hey, what no problem, the boss. So when you do a multiplication, it's saying, okay, first of all, what are the dimensions of the matrices? And that's going to be important because you can't just multiply any two matrices together. You have to be a certain dimension. So what needs to happen, as I was saying last time, is the number. So the number of column in the first matrix needs to match the number of row in the second matrix. The easiest way to say that is, so I'll give you a couple matrices and you tell me what's the dimension of this. So what's the dimension of this matrix? Fast, guys. Let's see. Oh, the boss. Yes, I do a lot of ACT stuff. Actually, on the YouTube channel that you are right now, it's mostly ACT and SAT. That's what at first when I started. That's all I was doing. It's a bunch of ACT and SAT questions on there. Yes, SOHCAHTOA. I think we talk about this like almost every other night. So yes, if you go on the channel, you'll find most of the stuff on there are like ACT and SAT prep, and you can find all of that in there. Yes, I do a bunch of them. If you want us to go over it too, we can do that. Actually, we're about to go over trig, so we might be able to go over some of the stuff, the circles and the triangle stuff that you were referring to. Yeah, so you guys tell me what's the dimension of the matrix. Okay, 3 by 1. So yeah. So it's 3 rows, 1 column. And that's what we call a 3 by 1 matrix. And the same thing here. So what about this matrix? And then after that, I'm gonna give you guys, we're gonna actually go into doing, operations on it. So what about this matrix? What's the dimension of it? I don't know if I have a favorite math theorem. I really don't think so. I really don't think I have a favorite one. I don't know. I don't know. I never thought about them like that. That's an interesting question, though. 2 by 4, 2 rows, 4 column. Lydia, you killing it. So yeah, and when you multiply in matrices, like I was saying before, what I just said is the number of column in the first matrix needs to match the number of rows in the second matrix. So what I'm saying is if I multiply a matrix that's 3 by 1 times a matrix that's 1 by 7, that's possible because the number of column in the first matrix, this is row, this is column, it matches the number of row in the second matrix. For me, the easiest way I like to do that is saying, okay, what's the dimension of the first matrix? 3 by 1, 1 by 7. The dimension of the second matrix, 1 by 7. I just need these middle two numbers to match. And then what's going to happen is the matrix that you're going to get is a matrix of this dimension. And it works out neatly. Once these two numbers match in the middle, the matrix that you're going to get is a matrix of 3 by 7. And it's really weird because when you think about it, you have a matrix that's 3 by 1, 3 rows, 1 column. So if I have 1, -1, 3, and then one that's 1 by 5, multiplied by this matrix that's, did I say 1 by 5? 1 by 7, one row, and then 7 column, let's say 0, 5, I didn't mean to put a comma there, 5, -1, 6, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Let's say the 7th thing is 8. When you multiply these two matrices, you're going to end up with a matrix that's 3 by 7. These two small ones that you see you multiply, you're going to end up with something that's really, really big. And it's I think it's crazy how it works out that way. What else do you guys want to see? Someone talk about, I heard someone talking about, what else do you guys want to see tonight? Yeah, the numbers in the middle have to match all the time. Yes, that's the only way you can multiply them. So I'm talking about multiplication. That's the only thing I was talking about. DNet, the numbers in the middle have to match. That's the only way that you can multiply them. And then what's going to happen is, if the numbers in the middle match, yes, you can multiply them. And then the resulting matrix is a matrix of the outside, of the dimension of the outside numbers. So what I'm saying is, let me do this different way. So let's say I have a matrix that's 4 by 2. A first matrix that's 4 by 2. And then I have multiplying this by a matrix that's 2 by 16. So you can do the numbers in the middle. Tells you, okay, you can do the multiplication because they match. And then the outside numbers are what you're going to get. A matrix, the resulting matrix will be a matrix 4 by 16. So the numbers in the middle will tell you, hey, you can do that multiplication. It's possible. And then the outside numbers will tell you, okay, this is how big it's going to be. So so what, I'm going to ask you guys two questions. So if I have a matrix 3 by 7 and another matrix that's 6 by 7, can I multiply these two matrices? So if I have a matrix that's 3 by 7 and another matrix that's 6 by 7, can I multiply these two matrices? Can I do a multiplication with them? Yes, no. That's all. Let me see your answer. Yes, some calculators have ways that you can solve matrices. Yes. Lydia, yes. Nicole, yes. That's what's up. No, you cannot multiply them. And the reason why you cannot multiply them, the numbers in the middle don't match. So now, when we have, let's say I have a matrix that's 8 by 2 and another one that's 2 by 11, can I multiply these two matrices? Eight by 2, 2 by 11. Can I multiply these two matrices? And I'm going to leave it there for you guys so you can see. Yes. Yes. DNet, yes. The boss, yes. Lilia, yes. That's right. You can multiply these two matrices. You can. You can multiply them because the numbers in the middle match. And then what's the resulting matrix? Like the matrix that I'm going to get, what's the dimension of the matrix that I'm going to get when I multiply this matrix by this matrix? What's the matrix that I'm going to get? Like the final matrix that I'm going to get, what's going to be the dimension of it? Eight by 11. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys got it. That's all. That's all. I mean, if you need me to do multiplication, we did a bunch of those on the last one. If you need me to do some, I can. Yeah, so the matrix that you're gonna get is 8 by 11. Let me do. I know I see a bunch of questions about trig. Let me see. I saw a bunch of questions about trigs. Let me try to see if I can go over a little bit. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go over some simple stuff. Said no. Is there a way where you could switch the terms? So 7 and 6 rather seven. So you haven't done matrix analogy since algebra 2. Yes. Um, the the boss. Actually, you can. There's there's something that they call transpose. You basically whatever was column becomes row, and whatever was row becomes column. So in this case, what you would have is this: the second matrix was 3 by 7, and I did that on purpose. Put the 7 here so you could get confused. Um, if you do the transpose of this matrix, what you're going to have is a matrix that's 7 by 6. So that matrix, which is the transpose of this, which is the transpose of this matrix, that's what you can multiply that matrix by this one because the middle numbers match. The 7 and the 7 here match. Does that make sense? Am I what do you want to see uh for 6th grade math? What would you like to see? Okay. So you guys want to see some trig? Yeah, no problem. The boss. You guys want to see some trigs? That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. No problem. Yeah. How would us? So let's see. Any questions? Any more questions? Trigs? Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about let's do some simple stuff on trigs. And I know you were talking about SOHCAHTOA. So let's do a little bit of simple stuff on it. Uh let me see. Let's see if I can find some shape. So let's say I have this here. Um, Lilia, regarding your question about row reduction, um, let me look over. Let me put this in there. Let me look over the stuff, and then maybe either I will write, probably do a video to help you with it, or next time we can just talk about it. Let me just look it over and then do something to give you like a little clearer explanation about it, so you can really understand it. Either through a video or next time when I come back, I'll just do some questions on those, so that way I'll be able to explain it to you in a way that helps you understand it. So let's do some stuff about trig. So the simplest way that they normally start with those is with a triangle, and that's the basics of almost all trig. So what we have here is a right triangle, and that means this angle here is a 90-degree angle, and that's what makes it a right triangle. So the first thing that we want to do is saying, hey, um, let's take an angle, for example. Let's say we take this angle here and we call this angle alpha. And then we want to find, let's say we wanted to find sine of alpha, cosine of alpha, tangent of alpha, and um, and let's say we wanted to find those for this angle alpha. So the what we were referring to, and the mnemonic that people really use a lot is what we call the SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. And if you understand what this is, you will probably won't have any trouble with trig, and not like the whole trig, but you won't have any trouble identifying the sine and the cosine if you have a triangle, a right triangle in front of you. So what this one is saying sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. That one is saying cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And this one is saying tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. And those are the only thing that you need to remember when you have this. So the first thing that we want to say here is saying, okay, what is sine of alpha? The first now before we start this, I want to tell you what really confused people is saying, okay, which side is opposite, which side is adjacent. Now everyone notices the hypotenuse. Now when you find in the opposite side, it means in relation to the angle. Midpoint. If you go, I actually posted a video about midpoint formula today, Irish. If you go to either of my channel, Facebook, TikTok, actually on the TikTok that you are now, you'll see a video about the midpoint formula that I posted, I think this morning. So yeah, no problem. We can find a distance formula. If I have some time, I'll go over that in a little bit. So the way it works is for this is what you want to know is most people know the hypotenuse is the longest side. What they have problem with normally is saying, okay, which one is the opposite side, which one is the adjacent side. Opposite and adjacent means in relations to the angle. Opposite in relation to the angle alpha here, which in this case, adjacent in relation to the angle alpha here. So opposite, directly opposite to it. So that means from alpha, if I draw a line from alpha and I draw it out, this is going to be the opposite side. This side that I find here is the opposite side. Adjacent means next to. So it's really is a part of that same angle alpha. So it's a part of it. It's next to it. So adjacent. This is adjacent to the angle alpha. Opposite, directly opposite to it. And it's if you draw a line from that angle to it, it's gonna hit it. It's gonna hit that side. So this is the side. And then to make this easier for you, let me give them some name. Maybe A. Let me give them some name A, B, and C. So opposite, directly opposite to it. If I draw a line from here to here, it's gonna hit it. Adjacent, next to this angle alpha. And now this is all you need to know. I know what opposite is, what adjacent is, and I can solve for any of them. So for alpha, so if I have the sine of this angle alpha is what? It says, so I'm going to go in the so part of the SOHCAHTOA. Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. The opposite side is what? What is the opposite side? So which side is the opposite side? We have AB, we have BC, we have AC. Those are the three sides of this triangle right here. Which side is the opposite side to the angle alpha in relation to the angle alpha? Jordan, any tape for SAT? It's tomorrow for me. Get some sleep, man. There's not really much that you can do now. Yes, AB, the boss. There's not really much that you can do now, Jordan, than getting some sleep, especially if the test is in the morning. Now, if you're taking it next time, you have, let's say you want to improve your score, and there are different strategies and stuff. But right now there's no, there's not much you can do. It's only a few hours left. Just I would say go get some sleep and then just go take it and be calm because you can take it again. That's the beauty of this. You can take it as many times as you want. All right, so let's get back to this. So the opposite side is AB, of course, right? And what's the hypotenuse? The boss. What's the hypotenuse? Yeah, that's right, DNet. AB. What's the hypotenuse in this case? Are we allowed to paste specific question in the chat if it goes to a link? I mean you can, but I might not be able to see it to work on it like at the moment. Does that make sense? Normally what kids do is like some of the stuff that I get ideas from is they the boss. I'm answering your question. Some of the questions that I have ideas from is they would ask me something, hey, can you go over this today at the live, or can you go over this next live? And then, if I post a video, they just comment on it. Hey, can we go over this next time? And then normally that's how I know that. Yeah, Jordan, that's the best thing to do. Just go to sleep. That's how I know what to talk about. Usually, unless I have like questions from like clients or other people's personally that needs something solved, or if I say that I'm going to talk about something else, something now I didn't get a chance to talk about it, I can do that in the next live. So the boss, normally what you would do is if you see me post a video and you comment on it and I see your comment and I would probably talk about it. Like if I saw that you wanted to talk about Sokotoa, we could have even started with it. So that's the easiest way. Because right now, if you have it, if you if you ask me the questions right now and it's specific, I go to the link and I probably, I'll probably, okay, I gotta post my video on Instagram. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I gotta post this video. I run out of time on Instagram. Math help. Ooh. Hi. So yeah, this is the easiest way. Just find a video, post a comment on it, and then if I see the comment before I go live, whenever I go live, I just talk about the stuff that you want to talk about. Yeah. So the hypotenuse, like I said, is AC. The hypotenuse is AC. Yeah, you guys got it right. AC. Okay, cool. So AB over AC, and that's good for sine of alpha. The other one that we're going to talk about is cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So when we talk about cosine, we need the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So and in relation to the angle alpha, what's the adjacent side of this? And we are in a SOHCAHTOA. We in this part of the SOHCAHTOA, the cup part, this part. So what's the adjacent side to this triangle? What's the adjacent side? So cosine of alpha is equal to the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And you guys, AC, actually the hypotenuse is AC. I don't know why I wrote AB. AC. And what's the adjacent side to it? BC over AC. Okay. BC over AC. Okay, so BC is the adjacent side, AC is the hypotenuse. BC over AC. Now, let's talk about the third part of the SOHCAHTOA, which is tangent. Let me go on this color. So tangent, this is what we're talking about now. So what it says is tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. Or you could say sine over cosine. Opposite side over adjacent side. So what's the opposite side of alpha that we already found? So what would be the tangent of alpha now? Tangent alpha. Tangent alpha. We already found the opposite side. And we found the adjacent side. So what's tangent of alpha? Of the angle alpha? The boss? Tangent of alpha? AB over BC. AB over BC. Yes. That's right. AB, he already said it. AB, the opposite side, AB, which is this side. You guys know that was the opposite side. Over the adjacent side, which is BC. And that's all it is to it. And that's the whole SOHCAHTOA. Over BC. Sine over cosine, AB over BC. Yeah. That's right. So that's the whole SOHCAHTOA. The boss, do you understand what I was doing? What's going on, you guys, on Instagram? If you want to see the screen, you'd probably need to go to YouTube to see it. Let's see. Any questions? I'm lost. Okay. All right, DNet is lost. So let's go back to what we were talking about. So the mnemonic that we use to find sine, cosine, and tangent is what most people know as SOHCAHTOA. So what it says is sine. The slow part says sine is opposite side over hypotenuse. The first thing that I started telling you guys when I was here is saying, hey, listen, opposite means in relation to the angle. The angle that we are taking here is the angle alpha. What's opposite to it is directly facing it. If I draw a line from this angle out, that's going to give me the opposite side. That's what opposite means. Adjacent means next to. So the opposite side of this angle alpha is AB. So if sine of alpha, if the SOHCAHTOA part is sine, if sine of alpha, let me go. If sine of alpha is equal to the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. So DNet, can you tell me what's sine of alpha in this case? We know the opposite side, and we also know the hypotenuse is actually the longest side of the triangle. Can you tell me what would be sine of alpha? AC over, I think you said AC over ABC. Opposite over adjacent. Yeah. Yeah, good job, the boss. That was a great explanation. Yeah, so AC over DNet, what you saying? AC over what? So what's the sine of alpha? Let me put that in there. So sine is the opposite side over hypotenuse. And we know in relation to the angle alpha, the opposite side is this side right here. The hypotenuse is the longest side of the triangle. It will never change. So what's sine of alpha in this case? And we already have it here on the screen, actually. So DNet, what would you say sine of alpha is? We know the opposite side is AB. And the hypotenuse doesn't change, which is AC. AB over the hypotenuse, which is AC. And that's all. That's all. AB over AC. Now for the tangent, and I think you got that, for the tangent is opposite over adjacent, opposite over adjacent. So tangent of alpha, the Torah part says tangent is opposite over adjacent. So tangent of alpha, tan of alpha is the opposite side over the adjacent side. And when the first thing that we started talking about is saying, okay, what's the opposite side? Opposite is this side right here, directly facing the angle alpha. The adjacent side is the one that is next to it. Opposite AB over adjacent BC. So what's tangent of alpha? The opposite side, which is AB divided by the adjacent side, which is BC. Let's see. The opposite side, AB divided by the adjacent side, which is BC. And that's it. That should do it for all three of them. And yeah, that's how you do it. If you haven't taken trig, no, I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you're not taking it or haven't taken it, yeah. Yeah, so good job, the boss. You explained this really well. Thanks. Yeah. So any other questions, guys? Let me see. Okay, good. I'm glad you got it, Jeanette. Any other questions? What else you guys want to see? Anything that I say I was going to talk about, I didn't? All right. All right, guys. And I think this should do it for tonight. And I really appreciate you all coming by. It's been over an hour and 15 minutes, and I appreciate you guys coming by and hanging with us. And if you have any other questions and I post a video, just ask me in a video, hey, what you want me to talk about, and then I will come back and talk about it. Thank you guys for your help and everyone who had a chance to ask questions. So if you have anything else, just ask me in a video. I will either make a video about it or talk about it directly when I come here. And that's it. Thank you all.